Okay, we're back. That was a quick little trip. Going to continue on here. Here, engage. Let's engage this and see if we can get out of the parking space by itself. It's thinking, giving a little bit of delay. There are people walking around, so it's watching them, I guess. Now the steering wheel is turning. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the turn signal. I find if I tap the accelerator or hit the turn signal, that's enough to tell it that I am ready to go and let's start moving. So I don't have to tap the accelerator. Yeah, the lady I picked up, she was a truck driver and she's ran out of hours, so she has to stay here and sleep and rest until she can finish driving or start driving again. She drove a load from Houston to Harlingen and on the way back to Houston. So now she's taking her break. We're 46 minutes away from the supercharger that I want to hit. Going through Kingsville, I now have both the Uber and Lyft on, so let me see if I get any more rides. Her ride, because it was a long pickup, actually paid $9. And hopefully she tips. Lyft usually takes a little bit longer before I see the tips come through. Uber's more instant. I did hit the Harlingen supercharger this morning. That only came to $7.99. So, yeah, that's not bad. I charged up to 100% at the hotel when I started this morning, had my first ride to the Brownsville airport and back, and the second ride from the Margaritaville to the airport. And that's when I started continuing this trip here. It's kind of surprising that from the Brownsville airport to the Harlingen supercharger, and while charging at the Harlingen supercharger, no rides, nothing. That's kind of why I'm heading towards San Antonio. Hopefully it'll be a lot more busier up there. Also, the Uber changes things. Right now I have Uber X and Uber Pet. If I go to the Houston, I got Uber Share, where people can share a ride and save money. We are in standard mode. It's getting onto the interstate just smoothly. I mean, it's doing an extremely good job. I did have one takeover. I wasn't sure if the car was seeing the chunk of tire on the exit ramp in Harlingen or not. That's just out of my own caution. It would have been nice to feel the car moving before or earlier for me to know that it was actually seeing the road debris or not. The previous version of the software, I was at a comfort level of 98% with the thought of sleeping while the car drives. So far, this version, I'm about 99%. I feel they're very, very, very close. There are a lot of things that I personally would like to see. For one, the newer cars, they don't have the controls to shift in and out. Give us an option to enable on the screen swiping on the older cars as well. It's not like this is physically doing anything, it's just toggle switches. And since the car can drive itself, since you can summons it, I don't physically have to move those, so we can use the swipe on the screen as well if we want. As far as I can tell, this version does not back up yet. That might only be in version 13. Why it's not in version 12, I don't know. Like I say, when I hit summons, it can do it. If I try to get to self-park, backing into practice, it can do it. It can handle the shifting into reverse. It can do it already. There's no reason why they can't have it doing when it's driving when it needs to. Now we have a right lane closure up ahead. The car does not use OCR software, so it's not reading signs. A lot of those signs are uniformed, so it should be easy to recognize them. Now I would have switched lanes a lot earlier, but we were clear. We didn't have anybody behind us or anything. It's trying to go back. It needs to stay over those cones. I'm trying not to interfere. It's still signaling, and the reason why it's doing that is because the car behind me is coming up pretty quick. Now these cones are not very close to each other. And it keeps signaling. I'm trying not to interfere. It should know that lane is closed and not go over. It's not going over, but it keeps thinking it wants to. And I'm going to disengage that because it wants to get out of the passing lane. So it's doing a good job. Now, once we pass these cones, it can do that. But yeah, it's nice, but now it's not. Okay, you can go over whenever you want, car. It'd be nice to know exactly what the car is thinking, but that's a little bit too much for to start adding it, announcing what its plans are. Uber is supposed to have a thing where it will send the navigation data straight to the car instead of having to send it to Google Maps, then share it to the car, which is a pain. But it's still something that they're working on. It's still not released. There may be a few people that are getting it, but not everybody. My car is linked to Uber, so it can monitor my range. So it supposedly shouldn't send me any rides outside of my range or the supercharger. And I cannot get an answer from Uber if it takes in consideration of supercharger stops. And what I mean by that is if I have someone in Harlingen who wants to go to Dallas, will it let me take that ride knowing that I have to hit supercharger stops along the way? Otherwise, having that there, I miss the long rides. Now, granted, they don't pay well. Uber takes 65%. I did drive someone from the Brownsville airport to the Corpus Christi airport once, and they paid Uber $275, and I only made $90 off of that. Uber and Lyft are taking a lot more than what they used to. They say they don't. It's a lot of these federal fees and stuff. I don't know. They just like to hide a lot of stuff. Why are they taking fees out for corporate insurance and still force me to provide insurance data for myself? You know, the insurance they provide only after mine is used up. Now, I'm going to tell it to change lanes because it's waiting. I don't see anything on the screen that it detects an emergency vehicle. Now, it would have moved over to make room for them. It has for several other ones. But with the truck coming up behind me, I wanted to move over faster to get in front of that truck so that I could still be polite. Now we're just going on this little trip trying to make some money. Things have not been good financially. Tesla stocks are still going down. Cryptocurrency's gone down. There's a lot of apprehension of what's going on in the government with what Trump is doing, what Elon Musk is doing, and it's I don't know. I don't spend all day. I mean, I spend all day, 10 to 14 hours, driving people nonstop. I don't have time to sit down and read everything that's going on. So I don't know what people are getting right and what they're getting wrong. I've had people that I drove and they told me, oh yeah, thanks to Elon Musk, we no longer have Medicaid, Medicare, and we can't pay out, can't go to the doctor anymore. And, I called my doctor in Lafayette. That's not true. It hasn't affected the Medicaid, Medicare billing process or anything. He's just shutting down the fraudulent stuff, which is quite a bit. It is amazing how much fraud is out there. Now, if you were watching the previous video, I had 2 scam calls coming in. I get those all the time, 30, 40 calls a day. Probably will get some more coming up here shortly anyway. It'd be nice if the government will go after these scammers. If they'll go after AT&T and the phone companies and say, stop allowing them to spoof phone numbers. These guys are getting, $27 to $38 billion a year from Americans alone. And it seems like the car is a little hesitant to pass this truck on the turn. His gas cap is off. That just kind of bugs me when I see a truck. But yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they can go after these scammers. They're taking way too much from U.S. citizens and other countries as well, England as well. Once you get my age, it seems to snowball. And, once you start pissing them off, it's like you don't get off that list. Now, some of the scammers, they were scammed themselves. They applied for a job. They show up in a country to work. They give the employer their ID and their passport, and they wind up finding out they will not get their ID and passport unless they complete so many calls a day and what have you. So they were coerced into doing this, and they're they're stuck at doing it. They don't have a choice. So I kind of feel sorry for them in a way. But yeah, I find that, if you have an iPhone, they have the option of recording their calls. Wait until someone's on the line, engage that recording, and if it's a scammer, they're going to hang up. If it's not, they either didn't hear it, or it might be a legit call. But very rarely is it a legit call. I keep seeing pop-ups on my phone here from X of hairy balls. I don't recall following hairy balls. So is this somebody I was following before that's changed their name? Did Elon change his name? More things that are just kind of crazy. We got DeepSeek from China, their AI that is kind of concerning, seeing how they used other people's data to train it. Rumors are Elon Musk talking about buying OpenAI. I don't know. It'd be nice if he'll buy Uber and Lyft. I mean, he wants to start a robotaxi service. If anything, buying Uber and throwing the robotaxis on there as an option would be ideal because everybody knows Uber. It's already out there. A lot of you already have the app. Even when I drive someone Lyft, they are thinking, oh, I'm in an Uber, even though they're in a Lyft. It's like when you search something on the internet, you Google it. I mean, you don't ever hear anybody say, oh, just Bing it, or just Yahoo it, or DuckDuckGo it, It's Google. Everybody, it's a name that kind of sticks with you. But yeah, to try to start up your own driving taxi service app, first you're going to only have the select customers who are going to be looking for a Tesla robotaxi or what have you. As far as letting mine do that, I don't know. I don't know if I want to let strangers in my car without me in it. I do ask a lot of my passengers what their thoughts are, and I'll have to say only about 5% would get into a driverless car. About 10% of the others may try it, but they prefer to have a person there. A lot of people I wind up driving are elderly. They want someone to help with their luggage, to help with their groceries and stuff, because to them that's what they're using it for, is that extra assistance. Now, since I already dropped her off, that means I should have an update on the daily driving in the app here. And I hate the late night thing. So yeah, so far today I've driven 208 miles. 207 miles of that on full self-driving, which puts me at 100%, 99.9, 99.9. It's the rounding puts it at 207. I do hate Tesla insurance because of the no driving between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. Doesn't matter if it's on full self-driving or not. It still dings your insurance if you're out and about at that time. I really don't think that should be an automatic ding. I think all the other, the no driving seatbelts, the hard braking, all the other matrices of that, forward, hard braking, aggressive turning, unsafe following, all of those are excessive speeding. I think all of those should be doubled or tripled between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. I think that would be more fair, is making the other options a more of a penalty. Because otherwise, if you're a safe driver and you have that, what difference does it matter what time of day you're driving? Long road trips, late at night, usually the best and the safest. There's less traffic on the road. It's clearer on the interstates. More efficient driving at nighttime. It's cooler, especially if you live in the South. I get better efficiency late at night. So yeah, to change that in the insurance, I think would be better. Now I know this is a boring ride. I mean, most of it is interstate or interstate-ish. But I have to say, quite a bit of it is a lot smoother than before. And I'm thinking I've passed the area I used to have tons of issues with. And it looks like that is solved now, so it's a lot smoother driving through here. And a lot of that was due to map data. There was so much construction around this particular area that it could not figure out the speed. So the speed was all over the place. It'd be dropping down to 45, 75, 45, 75. Because they kept thinking it was on one of the side roads, thanks to map data and what have you. And I think this is like the 4th guardrail damaged area I've seen. That is a bad one too. They took out the entire guardrail. We're just now passing the superchargers here in Robinson. That's a nice one. It's behind the shopping center, so it's kind of a little inconvenient to have to walk around the building just to get to the front of them. I would rather put them more in the front so you can go straight to the shopping centers. There's a few Buc-ee's like that too, there's a Buc-ee's that I've stopped at before where the superchargers are behind the Buc-ee's and you have to walk around the entire building to get to the front door. Others, they're in the front, so it's just a little more convenient to walk straight to the door. But if you've never been to a Buc-ee's, those things are wild. I have never seen so many gas pumps in my life. Even inside the men's room, so many urinals. I can't remember which one it was, but I counted a total of 96 urinals. And they make their own jerky there, their own candy there, their own sandwiches there. And the employees there, they make great money. I mean, a lot of the starting pay is close to, $18 to $20 an hour. So we're doing 77 and a 70, so that is 10%. I don't know why the default they want to recommend 40%. That is just, I can't see being in a 70 and doing 40% over the speed limit. That is what, 28 miles over the speed limit? So you want to do 98 in a 70? Why not just change it, 10% or give me a damn ticket? That's what they need to have it at. Give me a ticket. And I really think we need to have a little more options. Like the standard should have its own speed offset. The hurry should have another speed offset. And the chill should have another speed offset. But instead, it's the same speed offset for all three. And instead of a percentage, we need to have like a different percentages between certain ranges. Yeah, 40% even at a 30 mile per hour zone, that puts you close to what, 42 miles per hour? That I know several towns, you'll get a ticket for that easily. Now it's moving over to make room for these cars merging in, which is very good, very comfortable. Definitely what I would do. But they didn't merge, they just continued going because they're heading towards Corpus Christi. And I'm heading a different way. Now I can tell you right now, this is a lot more pleasurable. All the issues I've had on this stretch of road, they're gone. It'll be interesting to find out if all of them are gone. There is a stretch up here, I can't remember if it's after this supercharger or before, where my car always kept jumping into the hurricane evacuation lane. And granted, it's a dotted line, it looks like it's a right-hand lane, but it's marked hurricane evacuation lane. It's for when you're evacuating from a hurricane. It's actually a shoulder road, so there's a lot of debris on it. So we are in a 75. It's saying 66 max. Don't know why it's saying 66 max. Could be because of the construction signs. And I scrolled up to 74 and it switched back down to 66. Well, now it thinks we're in a 60. I can understand that. It is a construction zone. We do have an exit 55. To me, I'm personally uncomfortable hugging the wall. And I'm glad it's getting off the wall. Now, to me, that uncomfort level, the car does great. I've never had an issue. I've never had it tap the wall. 3 years ago, I had to get too close to a barrel, and I lost my right hand side view mirror because it slapped the barrel. But that was, I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, since then it's been flawless. I've never had it hit a curb. I've had it look like it's going to get very close. And again, like I said, once I installed this version, I did a camera calibration just in case. And I really think the camera calibration should be done every 6 months with the way I drive. You never know, if the fender cams get a little bit out of alignment or what have you. You can see on mine, it's like the left one is not quite the same angle as the right. Now, the car is saying that we're in a 75, but it's still doing just 66 max. And I am being passed by some vehicles. I don't see any more construction here. And we're now going into preconditioning for supercharging. But yeah, I think it'd be nice, for like Uber and Lyft, if they would add in there to allow for supercharging stops. So if a ride does pop up that was going longer than what the range I have, as long as there was superchargers on route, I can do it. I do see a lot of people at the superchargers sitting for a very long time, charging up to 100%. And most of the time when I hit superchargers, I'm not there that long. I just charge what I need and continue going. If I was doing a straight beeline to San Antonio, I would do the same thing here. Just charge what I need to continue the trip to San Antonio. Maybe stop another time or not. I'm currently charging up a little more because I'm also doing rideshare options on the way. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to go a little bit faster. Let's go up to 75. It's nice on this version that I can do that, even on non-interstates. And it's nice that they added the weather so I can pull up. I'm seeing a little bit of sprinkles on the windshield. Yeah, we got some rain in the area coming up, so It's nice that we can see the weather on there now. Thank you, Tesla, for adding that. Before that was only with the AMD processors, not the Intel. And I don't know if you see on my screen, I still keep getting these X notifications from Harry Balls. Yes, I have a lot of cracks on my windshield. When you drive 10,000 miles a month, that does happen. And, you know, it's not overly expensive to change the windshield, but it's also a matter of scheduling an appointment and being without it for the time. My roof glass also has a few cracks. The Brownsville Service Center, I don't know about them. They replaced the roof glass once, but they didn't glue it down. So they told me to come pick up my car right when they were closing. So they had left for the day right when I was leaving, and I started to get onto the main road and getting up to 65 miles per hour, and I see the glass lifting up. Started pulling away because they didn't glue it down good enough. You know, luckily I had my roof rack on there at the time, so it held it down and it didn't go flying off. But it does kind of concern me that they, you know, overlooked that. I had to take it in the next morning and for them to work on again. Oh, and you know, all the speed bumps, dips, and potholes that I go through in Brownsville, the undercovering of the front aero cover under the bottom had taken a lot of damage. They replaced it with the newer plastic one. That lasted a few weeks. You know, kept having that get damaged over and over again. I finally bought an aftermarket aluminum one, and it's been solid. I have not had any issues with that at all. It may be a little bit heavier, but it being aluminum, it's holding up a lot better to a lot of this bad road conditions that I run into. Okay, we're down to 59 miles. I'm 10 miles away from the supercharger. Will I make it to the supercharger of no rides? So not overly heavy rain, but normally in that type of rain, I would get a notice that the full self-driving may be degraded. But didn't get that this time, which is good. Again, this is still full self-driving supervised, so I am paying attention to the road. I'm ready to take over any time I see there might be an issue. It's gotten very good that these full self-driving videos are soon going to be very, very boring, as this one is. You know, we're not running to any oh shit moments. Excuse the language. Okay, I have to look here. Okay, Harry Balls is Elon Musk. So yeah, Elon Musk changed his name to Harry Balls. That's why I'm seeing all these notifications from Harry Balls. Can't wait for the next Starship launch. Not sure when it's going to be. I did have a person helping me with my YouTube channel, keeping the news up to date on the daily live streams. However, he's in Canada, so he's no longer helping anymore because of the current administration and how it's affecting life in Canada. So it's sad to lose someone that I consider a friend over this. And it's hard for me because I do spend 10 to 14 hours every day driving just to try to make ends meet. So I don't have time to keep up with what moves where at SpaceX or any of that stuff. This channel doesn't make much money at all. I barely, honestly, it's like 75 cents a day, if that. It takes me forever to make the content, to get it uploaded and what have you. I don't have a staff. I don't have a team working on it. I can't afford to pay someone to do that. There's so much I would like to work on. I don't have time because I'm nonstop driving. And it's like I'm trying to make money and pay bills. As you can see on Uber, I've only made $86, and on Lyft, I've only made $9 today. So that's $95 so far for the day, and it's already 1 p.m. Years ago, I'll be over 150 by now. And that was just, I wouldn't have been able to get out of Brownsville and Harlingen. I would have had so many rides nonstop. Now, I don't know if me letting Uber and Lyft monitor my battery status is impairing that or not. But I do have a scheduled ride for Thursday that's not on the island. And whoops, Harry Balls again. It's one thing I hate about the pop-ups of those. Every time I'm going to click on something on the screen, they get in the way. Yeah, I got a scheduled ride for Thursday at 10:50 in the morning from McAllen going to Alameda. Looks like I'm going to Tesla. Are they? Yeah, they're going to the Tesla, so I don't know. Maybe somebody's going to pick up their car. So I might be driving someone. It's kind of funny, there's a Dollar General store in the same Tesla service center. So I might be picking up someone to take them to pick up their Tesla. Drop the temperature down here. I like it 68 degrees myself. Now then, we're 2.5 miles away. Exit 36. I recall this is kind of interesting. Yeah. I don't think I've had issues with this exit for this supercharger going this way. Previous version coming back, I've always had issues. But yeah, let's see how close it gets me to the superchargers without me having to intervene. It is nice that you can generally you tell the car where you want to go and sit back and it'll map all the stops for you. I do find a better route planner does do a better job. There are things I would love it to do is to take, like if you're using Tesla insurance or if you just don't like driving at nighttime, to put in there that I don't want to drive after this certain time. Show me all the stops I need to make to get me to a location where I can find a hotel and chill out for the night. Now this looks kind of interesting. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I should be able to go straight across here, but just with the slight wetness of the road, it's hard to see in this angle. But the car is doing a good job of handling that. It's taking the exit. Going up here. And should come over in this parking lot. Yeah, these here are in the back of this. Yeah, right in the back of the place. But let's see where it goes here. There's the superchargers right there. It's making a right. Is it going to turn left? It's going to go in the front. Come on. I'm disengaging here. The superchargers are not there. They're back here. Why is it? It should know where these are. It really should. There's no reason for it to do that. And we're going to do self-park. And we have looks like a Cadillac EV over there plugged in and charging. They have their adapter, which is good. And we're coming to a stop here at the charger. And what I want to do is I want to go to San Antonio. See how far away I'm only 100 miles away. So technically, it should tell me it wants to add another charger. I want to remove all charging. Because I should be able to. It's 110 miles. I should be able to just charge here and make it there. Yeah, 25 minutes. But I can, cut it shorter if I want to. Let me plug in and see how this pops up here. We're at 44 miles. Okay. We're plugged in at 44 miles. It is starting to charge. It's saying 25 minutes to continue my trip. Jumping up to 142 kilowatts, 153, 163, 171. $200 kilowatts, 203. Yeah, it looks like we've got to 211 kilowatts. Now it's backing down to 195. $193. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video here and go in and grab something to snack on and maybe something to use the bathroom or something. Yeah, it's down to 186 now. And we're about 25%. So it'd be nice to get the full 250 kilowatts all the way up to 60 or 70%. Would be nice. But anyway, I'll end this here and maybe do another video after this.